Respected leaders, experts, teachers, students, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor to be entrusted to host the second Beiludong Forum and the first keynote speech of the 2013 annual conference of Jiangxi Management Association. The purpose of holding this forum is to promote or inherit the humanistic spirit of Beiludong Academy's tireless pursuit of truth and encouragement of academic debate, to transmit and promote traditional Chinese culture, and to voice China's own perspective in the field of management. That is to say, to promote Chinese concepts, Chinese spirit, Chinese expression, Chinese language, and Chinese style. To voice China's own perspective in the management field. Today, on this occasion, I'm very honored to introduce to you our keynote speaker, Khenpo Sodargye, Honorary President of Shanghai Chihui Public Welfare Foundation, an internationally renowned philanthropic theorist, activist, and translator. Khenpo was born in 1962 and relies on His Holiness Jigme Phuntsok as his root guru. He resides at the world's largest Buddhist university, Larung Five Sciences Buddhist Academy. For many years, Khenpo has taught every day without fail and translated every night without rest. He has not only translated hundreds of classic Tibetan texts into Chinese, but also translated Chinese classics such as Dizigui into Tibetan for publication and teaching, enabling more people not to miss precious human cultural essence due to language barriers. Since the 1990s, Khenpo has been invited to Peking University, Tsinghua University, the University of Hong Kong, the Chinese University of Hong Kong, Harvard University, Columbia University, the University of Washington, and other world-renowned institutions to give lectures and exchange ideas. With many scientists at home and abroad, he has deeply explored concepts regarding macro and micro life sciences, as well as environmental protection, peace, and morality, hoping to enhance the well-being of all life. Throughout history, humanity has continuously pursued happiness. But what is true happiness? What kind of happiness has the most sustainability? What kind of happiness can ensure you're happy this year, next year, and the year after? What kind of happiness can guarantee that while you attain happiness, your family will also be happy because of your happiness, and friends, colleagues, and the general public will all feel happy because of your happiness? In short, what kind of happiness is both temporary happiness and also encompasses lasting happiness, where one's own happiness can also increase others' happiness? And how do we realize such sustainable happiness? Let us together listen to the world-renowned Buddhist scholar, Khenpo Sodargye, who will present his lecture, Precept, Meditation, Wisdom and Happiness in Life. Everyone, please welcome Khenpo Sodargye.
Respected President, Dean of the College, and deans, experts, scholars, and teachers from all over the country, and many students, especially today, I heard there are 30 or 40 students and friends from Tibet here. After arriving here, I also felt very happy. I think today I'm very honored to participate with everyone in the Beiludong Forum of Jiangxi University of Finance and Economics and the 2013 annual conference of the Management Association to study together and explore traditional culture together. Just now, our president and various scholars all very clearly pointed out to everyone the main purpose of holding such an event, which is to inherit and promote some valuable knowledge and treasures from the ancient philosophers and sages of Eastern culture, and even transmit them to the whole world. This is the purpose. I myself am very interested in this, because indeed, in our ancient culture, there is knowledge that is extremely beneficial to our entire life and existence. But modern people have all forgotten it, have all abandoned it. I find this very regrettable. Nowadays, globally, countries like Korea, Japan, including Singapore and many different countries and ethnic groups, they're studying the genuine truths of our Eastern culture. At this time, they have truly applied it in their lives. But on our side, our thinking is very poor and barren. Our genuine truths are being used abroad, becoming luxury goods overseas. We can also say they've become a kind of imported, very precious intellectual product for them. I think everyone present is very clear about this. Actually, in the 21st century now, in my view, it should be said that in terms of material civilization development, we've reached the peak. We can say that any dynasty probably cannot compare. What we have now, including skyscrapers and luxury cars, as well as all the wealth we enjoy every day without worry. It should be said that throughout history, there probably hasn't been anything like it. But our spiritual poverty and destitution, it should be said, are unprecedented. In any era, there probably hasn't been, like in our current era, people's sense of emptiness, vanity, and ignorance. Why is this? When our material possessions develop to higher and higher levels, we may lose the most precious truths we ourselves possess. Therefore, I very much hope to participate in some academic symposiums on management. Through such platforms, let many young people, let many academic and intellectual circles reflect and remind themselves. So what I'm sharing with you today is what the moderator just mentioned. Precept, meditation, wisdom, and happiness in life. This is from the School of Management who proposed this topic to me. I think the Buddhist three trainings of precept, meditation, and wisdom, when mentioned, may seem like rather unfamiliar terms. But actually, they can completely integrate with modern management and modern culture. More than 2,500 years ago, Buddha Shakyamuni turned the wheel of Dharma 3 times in India. That is to say, he expounded 84,000 Dharma doors. The 84,000 Dharma doors, when summarized, are the Tripitaka with 12 divisions. And what is the content of all the Tripitaka with 12 divisions? It's the 3 trainings of precept, meditation, and wisdom. Everyone has probably heard of discipline, meditation, and wisdom. These 3 should be the entire content of Buddhism. So in today's short time, will I pour out all the content of discipline, meditation, and wisdom to everyone? This is also impossible, but I think I'll explore some individual contents with you. During the exploration, if there are any questions, suggestions, or even critical comments, I think the Buddhist community, especially those studying Tibetan Buddhism, should have a relatively open mindset and can completely accept them. During the interactive session in a moment, we can exchange together. The 3 trainings I mentioned are actually the entire content of Buddhism. Why does Buddhism have such discipline, such meditation, such wisdom? To modern people, it seems like traditional thinking, perhaps giving people a sense of constraint or lack of freedom. Many people I've met say they can't enter Buddhism, can't take refuge in Buddhism, because Buddhism has many rigid rules and regulations, rather rigid precepts, which they have no way to accept. Actually, this statement is not reasonable. Why do I say this? First, let's talk about precept. So-called discipline, actually, in modern language, is law, constitution, regulations. Everyone knows any ethnic group, any country, in its living environment must have constitution and laws, or large enterprises and small groups all have their own rules and regulations. This is what's called discipline. So-called discipline, if introduced from a relatively high-level perspective, in Buddhism there are Vajrayana precepts, Bodhisattva precepts, and Pratimoksha precepts. So-called Vajrayana precepts are, in the very brief life of a person, through a special skillful means, a method to attain a transcendent state. Vajrayana precepts have 14 root precepts. According to the Mayajala Tantra, there are 5 root precepts and 10 branch precepts. The 5 root precepts, for example, not abandoning the supreme vehicle, respecting the guru, showing compassion to Vajra brothers and sisters, not abandoning mudra and mantra, and not divulging secrets. Probably when I say this, some present may find it rather unfamiliar. I won't go deeper into this. Then the second, which is also higher level than ordinary people, not only managing oneself, but also managing all beings in the world, the Bodhisattva precepts. Among the Bodhisattva precepts, there are also 8 root precepts and 20 precepts. The most fundamental is not abandoning any sentient being and aspirational bodhicitta. These are Bodhisattva precepts. If we further analyze Bodhisattva precepts according to the theoretical methods of Je Tsongkhapa and omniscient Longchen Rabjam, there are the views of Nagarjuna and the views of Asanga. There are also many different analytical methods. I think I won't discuss this here for now. So now what ordinary people can do, for those who are self-centered and seek self-liberation, the precepts these people uphold are called Pratimoksha precepts. Pratimoksha precepts also include monastic precepts and lay precepts. Today, among those present, except for me, there's probably not one monastic, so I won't discuss monastic precepts for now. Among monastics, there are Shramanera precepts, Shramanarika precepts, Bhikshu precepts, Bhikshuni precepts, and so on. There are many precepts. We won't discuss these for now. For lay people, among lay people, there are the 3 refuges and 5 precepts and the 10 virtues. Regarding the 3 refuges and 5 precepts, people present may think that Buddhist precepts should only be acceptable to Buddhists. We lay people may have no relationship with them. But when the Buddha established such precepts more than 2,500 years ago, coming to today, to the 21st century society, I find them so charming, so full of vitality. Why do I say this? Everyone needs their own code of conduct, behavioral norms. Indeed, Buddhism's 5 precepts, from the Buddhist perspective, among all Buddhist communities, are the lowest level marker. But actually, for people now, it's a very high level. Everyone should know Buddhism's 5 precepts: killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, and intoxicants. These may seem a bit difficult, but actually, for everyone to be a noble person, you cannot kill, cannot steal, cannot commit sexual misconduct, cannot tell great lies, including drinking alcohol is also not allowed. So first, why can't one kill? Everyone present knows in any country's laws, it's clearly stipulated that if you kill another person, you must repay with your own life, or there will definitely be punishment. Yesterday, at another university lecture, many people asked, from Buddhism's perspective, if someone kills, what method is used to punish them? Questions about this aspect were also raised. So Buddhism's 5 precepts, actually not killing is a citizen's morality for all citizens. If you kill another person, actually this person may also kill related people. In this way, not only in Buddhism is killing adults forbidden, even killing fetuses, abortion, etc. are not allowed. This is also a manifestation of love. Not only can one not kill people, it's best also not to kill any other life or animals. This is also very consistent with the international concept of animal protection. So from such a simple concept, I think Buddhism's first precept, everyone should feel that for a person to be human, at least not killing people, such behavior is needed. Everyone knows that nowadays in major cities in the Han region, there are often various threats, various knife attacks, killing people at the slightest provocation. The Buddha already prohibited such behavior long ago. This is the first precept. The second precept says one cannot steal. Strictly speaking, everyone knows that stealing is prohibited. In current society, various forms of embezzlement, various bribes, including tax evasion, and various current forms of theft. Actually, stealing is taking what belongs to others, what you shouldn't have, and appropriating it. So in current society as well, if we don't steal, with a pure mind and pure body, only enjoying the property we ourselves possess, then this person is very pure. Everyone knows this. So now we often talk about promoting clean government, anti-corruption, and so on. These concepts are completely consistent. Therefore, I think the concept of not stealing is very important for the present. If this behavior, this precept is upheld, then throughout life, one should be very happy. Everyone is also clear about this. The third is no sexual misconduct. No sexual misconduct is also a basic method for lay people now to protect themselves. Now, many families, in the end, many children become single-parent families. Very pitiful. Some are with their father, some with their mother. Especially now the divorce rate is getting higher and higher. Why is this? It's caused by sexual misconduct. Now, many people don't trust their own family members, especially if their family member is a leader. Their spouse protects them all day, worrying during the day and at night. Why is this? They haven't upheld such precepts. If such precepts are upheld, family harmony naturally follows. Actually, family harmony is very important. For world peace, we need social peace. The main cells of social peace are actually composed of family cells. If every family lives in harmony, then expanding outward, world peace can easily appear. So this is actually one of the fundamental reasons for world peace. The fourth talks about not lying. Buddhism says one cannot tell lies. What does lying mean? It means deceiving others. Now, various news, various media, various newspapers, various advertisements, actually, originally, this is not for health maintenance, but then there's false news and false propaganda finally saying this is for health maintenance. Originally not the truth, but claiming it's the truth. This is so-called lying. So lying deceives how many people? Counterfeits, many fake things, are all composed of such false language, propaganda, and creation. This society is all like this. Nowadays, when we eat, we're very worried. Are there many hormones in here? Eating anything, we're a bit worried. Wearing any clothes, we're a bit afraid. Whatever we do, even taking medicine, we're worried because people now tell too many lies. And now when people tell lies, it's not like ancient people telling lies. Ancient people telling lies, if I tell you a lie, the propaganda power isn't very high. Now, through an advertisement, through a propaganda film, through a movie, TV, through various means, all at once, one thing, originally something with no value inside, all at once is packaged as such and such. So very good. Finally, people all over the world are deceived, very dangerous. The Buddha already said long ago, speak factually about facts, don't tell exaggerated lies. This is very necessary for current society, I think. The fifth is that one cannot drink alcohol. Actually, many people now have very bad habits because after drinking alcohol, one's entire physical and mental state becomes that of another person. But people don't know this, thinking no feast is complete without wine. It seems like when communicating with people or talking, one must drink. Actually, after drinking alcohol, generally speaking, it has very great harm to your physical health. Much liver cancer comes from drinking alcohol, much lung cancer comes from smoking, and AIDS also comes from drug use and so on. Now, people particularly like to enjoy toxic things. What they eat and drink is all toxic because it has an addictive attraction. Once you fall for this attraction, there's no way out. It's exactly like when many people smoked opium in the past. Now, whether drinking alcohol, smoking, playing mahjong, or many, many other things, including many young people now addicted to the internet, day and night, they're all in illusory games, violence and pornography in such a world. Indeed, perhaps I'm being pessimistic, or perhaps it's something special, but I think how pure was the life of ancient people. Everyone enjoyed the wealth they themselves possessed. There wasn't much pressure or suffering, and everyone lived happily. But now, people seem to be busy every day, always busy. Everyone is extremely busy. But what can they truly accomplish? On the day they die, when reviewing their whole life, perhaps they've achieved nothing. Yesterday I saw a professor here tell me, he said studying is very tiring, studying constantly until getting a PhD. When reaching the PhD level, looking back, many things in life, he still doesn't know what truly has real value. I very much believe these mature thoughts they speak of. Honestly, this isn't because Buddhism is very pessimistic. Buddhism has the ability to truly perceive some truths. At this time, I think we first talked about precept in the 3 trainings of precept, meditation, and wisdom. Regarding precept, don't think that in Buddhism, this seems like a constraint. Actually, constraint is very important. This is also discussed in ancient culture. Confucius once said, the superior man has 3 things to guard against. In youth, guard against lust. In manhood, guard against quarrelsomeness. In old age, guard against greed. The meaning is, if you want to be a successful person, you must be vigilant about 3 things. Young people crave beauty very intensely, so be vigilant. Middle-aged people are aggressive and combative, with very severe anger, so also be vigilant. Finally, in old age, in a state of ignorance, one can become insatiably greedy, so pay attention. Therefore, I think many people now, including those who break the law, including many unsuccessful, very painful people now, these people who finally fail, most of them are caused by lacking restraint in their behavior. Families are unhappy, society is unstable. Many causes are that everyone has no moral bottom line. When a person has no moral bottom line, no sense of shame, they've already entered the category of beasts. Mencius also said, without a sense of shame and disgust, one is not human. I very much like this phrase. If a person has no sense of shame, they're not being human. This person already has no difference from animals. Now, many people, whether running naked or saying whatever, have no sense of dread, no sense of fear. They're not afraid of leaders, not afraid of going to prison. Recently on TV, in movies, in much news, the behavior of these people being broadcast, they don't care about abandoning their own lives. Actually, life is very precious. One's own life is precious, and others' lives are also precious. Today, many present are deans of management schools. I especially hope you'll emphasize managing the human mind. If you emphasize managing the human heart, just drawing a very beautiful blueprint won't work. We put these people and thoughts from traditional thinking inside warehouses, unwilling to take them out. Once we take them out, we fear feudal superstition, fear this and that. After this, our thinking ultimately has no way to open up. Once our thinking has no way to open up, we cannot integrate with international standards. Just opening up one product to others is useless. So what we need now is this very necessary knowledge from traditional culture that should be transmitted to the next generation. Now, many children in their families, their future pressure will be very great. If in their hearts they don't have an ability to bear it, if they haven't cultivated an ability to face suffering and adversity, when they truly become parents or future pillars of society, they're indeed very fragile. So I think when restraining oneself through discipline, then this person will naturally live happily. Ancient people also said if one's belly is full of poetry and books, then their talent will naturally appear. If internally there's no genuine moral restraint, I'm afraid, after these people come out, they'll commit all kinds of evil and be insatiably greedy. People now are very greedy. There's never satisfaction. Want this, want that. Always pursuing. Finally, when dying, they haven't even reached halfway to their goal. At this time, you leave this world amidst desire and greed. So I think discipline is very important. The second is that a happy life needs meditation. Why did the Buddha say that having precept is still not enough? Our minds must calm down. This is also very important for today's society. Now, many people's mentality is extremely emotional, restless, painful, anxious, troubled, always sad, with never any sense of security. This is a current social phenomenon. Why is this? Actually, if we can calm our minds and truly reflect more on our own mentality, observe more the various social phenomena in the world, at that time we may live particularly happily. I see that in our Tibetan region. Although one cannot see such very abundant material life, one cannot see it anywhere. But the mentality of many people of faith there is very pure, simple, and very happy. This happiness is not a pretended happiness, but a sense of contentment from the heart. And this smile is also not a pretended smile, but should be said to be from the heart, a very natural beaming face. So I think many people present, through studying Buddhism or studying traditional culture, using traditional culture's methods of calming the mind and nourishing life to truly enable oneself to attain peace of mind and spirit. In this way, there is indeed certain happiness in life. Calming the mind isn't just about saying to calm the mind. Now, many very successful management schools in America and Germany all offer various levels of meditation activities. These meditation activities are very useful for people's values. Everyone knows people like Li Ka-shing and Steve Jobs. Their success today actually has certain relationship with meditation. Those present should have also recently seen their different biographies and their different meditation methods. Especially now, genuinely proven by science, it also has very great help for one's own physical health. I've seen before that scientists from an American university conducted meditation experiments on 40 students. During the experimental process, what result did they finally obtain? Actually, if one can meditate 5 to 10 minutes every day, then in the body, consumption of the brain can be reduced by 15%. This is also equivalent to a mature person now sleeping deeply for 7 hours. We sleep 7 hours. Many people say, for physical health, one must sleep 8 hours, sleep 7 hours. Actually, when you get up in the morning, when you go to sleep at night, if you can do 5 to 10 minutes of meditation, then it completely has very great help for your physical recovery and your body. Moreover, in the body, there's an element called fatigue toxin. The concentration of this fatigue toxin naturally decreases. So whether now at Harvard University or Yale University, including now Tsinghua, Peking University, Fudan, many universities have also established meditation centers. Actually, meditation centers cultivate one's own mind through a tranquil method. When cultivating your own mind, if your mind is already pure, then other things, including your wisdom and various aspects, are all very easy. In Buddhism, there's something called from discipline arises meditation, from meditation arises wisdom. First, our behavior must be regulated, must have discipline. People must be good people. Then on this foundation, the mind must calm down. After the mind calms down, then wisdom arises. So I think now, first, the mind has no discipline, thinking about this and that all day. In the end, I'm afraid one's concentration power is indeed very difficult. For this meditation method, one is what I just said. Your mind is not attached to anything, let go of all connections and settle. This is one method. There's another method. If you have faith, or even if you have no faith, you place a Buddha statue in front of you, an image of Amitabha Buddha or Shakyamuni Buddha. Because the Buddha's mudra, the Buddha's posture, actually have very great effect on your entire body's serenity and peace. Then keep your mind focused on this for a while. If you don't know anything else, you can arise from meditation. This kind of method, such a method actually truly has very great effect on our physical health. So regarding this, in the past, I don't know if you've heard of it. There was a scholar named Liang Tingchan, a scholar from the late Qing dynasty. He wrote a book. This book is chronological of life and death of famous people in Chinese history. It compiled statistics for many years, approximately from 232 CE to 1884, a total of 1,652 years. He made very detailed observations of the lifespans of figures over such a long period. Then during his observations, he compared eminent Buddhist monks and masters with emperors throughout Chinese history. When making comparisons among eminent monks and masters, 571 people had an average lifespan of 76.4 years. During these 1,652 years, their average age was 76.4 years. This is 36.1 years higher than the average age of emperors throughout history. Calculating this way, the average age of emperors throughout history was approximately 40 years old. Eminent monastic masters throughout history lived to 76 years old. So there's a 36-year difference in between. Why is this? I'm thinking, what should everyone think about? Many people want longevity, health, and happiness. Actually, it indeed has very great relationship with one's own mentality. If the mentality is very good, then one will have very long life. I also knew in the past an elder Huang from Shanxi here. He's already lived to over 90 years old. He came to our academy very early, probably came in the 90s. Some professors here all know him. They came together very long ago. Actually, at that time, he also made aspirations. One is that he himself wants longevity. Another is that he himself wants to benefit many people. Actually, not only him, among Buddhists, including those you may also know, there are many long-lived people like Master Qingding, Nan Huaijin, Li Bingyan, also Elder Guangqin, Zhao Puchu. These all lived to over 90 years old. Ordinary officials, many people drink and smoke all day, doing many things relatively unfavorable to physical health. Their lifespans aren't necessarily very long. Honestly, you can look. It's not because I'm a Buddhist that I deliberately praise like this. I'm not like that. You can observe. Like Master Shu Yun, he lived to 120 years old. A disciple of Master Shu Yun, Master Ben Huan, who just passed away last year, he lived to 106 years old. When I met him at over 100 years old, his body was very healthy. His mind was also very clear. On Mount Wutai, there's an elder Menkan. He's exactly 100 years old this year. He studied at Sera Monastery, one of Tibet's 3 great monasteries. Later, he was imprisoned for 33 years, came out and taught Dharma for another 33 years. In his 90s, approaching 100 years old, he still teaches others every day. One day, I saw that Phoenix TV interviewed him. When others interview him with questions, he answers very clearly. His thinking is not confused at all, very clear. An ordinary person may find this very difficult. There's also another disciple of Master Shu Yun called Master Miaoji, who lived to 116 years old. Around the year 2000, he was China's sole person with the highest age. At that time, everyone probably heard of him. After he passed away, many people wondered, 116 years old, living to such a long life, what kind of secret did he have? Later they discovered that when he was alive, actually his secret was very related to Buddhism's precept, meditation, and wisdom. What was this secret? He had 3 diligences, 3 tranquilities, 3 lightnesses, and 3 joys. These health cultivation tips. What are the 3 diligences? He said, diligence of mind, feet, and hands. The meaning is use your brain more, move your hands and feet more. That's probably the meaning. Actually, the body needs more exercise. Now, many people just eat all day without exercising. In the end, it's very unfavorable for the body. I think physical exercise is still very important. Also, many people should use their brains and do more thinking. A few days ago, I saw a 72-year-old Tibetan elder who started memorizing many texts. I said, your spirit is very commendable. Still memorizing books in your 70s, this spirit is commendable. So I think many people shouldn't think that at 50 or 60, now I should retire, do my own things, and not use their brain. Originally, very successful people, finally at 50 or 60, they try to step down, then start eating, drinking, playing every day. This is unreasonable. Actually, the older people get, the richer their wisdom and experience. So I think his 3 diligences are related to using the brain and exercising. Then he had 3 tranquilities, which means the mind should be tranquil, the energy should be tranquil, the body's channels, winds and drops should be tranquil, and behavior should be tranquil. The meaning is, the mind should often meditate, should be tranquil, not always restless and scattered outward. Now everyone holds a phone, either making calls all day, watching TV all day, or talking all day. Actually, this is very meaningless. Sometimes calm down. We humans need both movement and stillness. When calming down, your channels, winds, and drops will all restore. Our body and energy also need to become tranquil. Also, your body should be active when it should be active, and when it shouldn't be active, rest like many meditation masters. Whether you have faith or not, now many American universities, many people practice Zen meditation. Very good. Sitting for 1 or 2 hours. If we can't sit for 1 or 2 hours, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, sit a bit when getting up in the morning. Also sit a bit before sleeping at night. It also helps your body. We're not talking about future lives, just temporarily like this. This is called 3 tranquilities. Then there are 3 lightnesses. What are the 3 lightnesses? Take wealth lightly, take power lightly, take age lightly. Don't be too attached to wealth, should take it lightly. Finally, when you die, you can't take anything with you. Perhaps what you have now, the day before yesterday, I saw someone from Brazil, or which country, the country's biggest tycoon, approximately with $30 billion, suddenly became penniless. So our life is impermanent. When all wealth will be gone is hard to say. Status is also like this. Now many people, once becoming a bureau chief, want to be at a higher level. If they're a section chief, they want to keep climbing up. Finally, perhaps when climbing to national president, you still want to be UN Secretary General. You might think this way. People's attachment to status, of course, we also don't completely abandon it. What should be possessed should be strived for. This is Buddhism's completely positive aspect. But also can't be too attached. Being attached every day is useless. More importantly, we should take age lightly. Many people get very sad when their age increases, counting every day how old they are now. This is also unnecessary. Finally, the 3, he said, joy in helping others. Contentment brings lasting joy. Finding joy in oneself. These 3 are very important. They're truly the causes of happiness in life. If we help others, our own heart is happy. If our own heart is happy, then all happiness comes from the mind. This is very important. This kind of happiness, I think for people present, actually simple happiness isn't very important. True happiness is when you're alive, you're happy. And when dying, you're also happy. If you truly understand truth after death, even life after life, happiness is more important. For us, this should be more important. So I hope many people now have some confusion. To dispel such confusion, we need our wisdom. This wisdom is what Buddhism discusses. The last of the 3 trainings, wisdom. This wisdom, everyone knows, many people also, people present from childhood until now, are all people learning wisdom. However, Buddhism explains that so-called wisdom has worldly wisdom and transcendent wisdom. Worldly wisdom, people present all study it. Whether you study in university or middle school, you continuously learn skills and knowledge, learn all management systems, etc., continuously learning these. But what we need more is transcendent wisdom. Why do I speak of transcendent wisdom? Everyone present today knows regarding worldly wisdom, you're very proficient. Transcendent wisdom isn't very easy. In Buddhism, we often talk about listening, contemplating, and practice, 3 kinds of wisdom. So-called listening wisdom is that your wisdom comes from teachers who truly have virtue. From teachers, you must hear genuine wisdom. What we discover now is some surface of things. The true reality of things, I'm afraid we haven't completely understood yet. At this time, it must be through teacher transmission. Although some people have wisdom, without teacher transmission, without lineage, relying on one's own conceptual thinking, may not fully understand. After this, there's hearing wisdom. After hearing wisdom, one must engage in contemplation oneself. In Tibetan Buddhism, there's much debate, questioning, and mutual discussion. We now especially need mutual discussion. Actually, exchanging fairly and face-to-face like this is also a very good, skillful means for producing wisdom. This is called contemplation wisdom. The final wisdom is called practice wisdom. What is practice wisdom? What you've heard, what you've contemplated yourself. Just speaking verbally still doesn't work. Now, many people, when speaking, talk fantastically, speak particularly well. After speaking, they themselves don't do it. Others also don't do it. This way, it's completely empty talk, useless. So actually putting into practice is called true practice wisdom. Of course, with this practice wisdom, we need to recognize what is the most fundamental truth of life. To recognize the nature of mind, to recognize the true reality of all phenomena. At this time, Buddhism directly talks about so-called emptiness, selflessness, etc., these principles. Today, in the management school present, you don't need to worry too much about emptiness. If all people realize emptiness, no one will do management work. If all people realize selflessness, there's no self anymore. Actually, you also don't need to worry. Realization of selflessness isn't so easy. The state that eminent masters throughout history realized through great hardships is indeed also very wonderful. I very much hope people present, no matter what, you all shouldn't regard some meanings in Buddhism as superstition or mythology, or even it seems like. Now, some teachers and students are like this. When teaching some traditional culture, teaching some Buddhist knowledge, students also think this teacher has mental problems. This person, it seems others all think something wrong with him. Like many other Western countries, when this teacher has faith, everyone feels this teacher should be very good. At least they have a refuge. But here, our values of thought are completely different. On this point, I also must say, the day before yesterday I also mentioned at the Marxism school, I recently went to Germany and learned about some of Marx's thought. Now in Germany, including after East and West Germany merged, after the Berlin Wall fell, basically the so-called Marxist thought that's completely held on to stubbornly here now, doesn't exist in Germany or in the Soviet Union, only exists in our place here. But now what we're attached to seems like opposing religion or regarding religion as anesthesia, as opium. This thought, actually, is from later Engels and Lenin, who, in order to subdue the war of Eastern Orthodoxy, arbitrarily added it. The true religious view of Marx exists in its original form in German and in English. Here, with many professors, in the process of detailed research and observation, what was originally thought to be Marx's true religious view is actually completely not. Because at that time, to resist their anti-political movement, actually that Soviet set, we now still haven't reformed. Many teachers and students still think this is the most supreme. Actually, this thought now needs further analysis. I'm not saying Marx's thought is unreasonable, but now is a very open era, a very inclusive era. At this time, the thought we hold now, perhaps using this thought, will always oppose tradition. This very valuable knowledge we ourselves possess, we always block it. Isn't this very regrettable? Actually, Marx's true worldview and religious view, including his dialectical materialism, later to utilize it as tools and means for politics, there was certain processing inside. For example, Marx said, religion is the opium of the people. But later, Lenin, for his own purposes, added above religion, the opium that anesthetizes the people. The word anesthetize was added by him later. Actually, at that time, the meaning of opium to Westerners was very expensive, attracting people, relieving people's suffering, a kind of spiritual comfort medicine. A very expensive metaphor, not a derogatory term. But here with us, this means having no positivity toward anything. As long as one studies Buddhism, studies religion, this person is already finished. Many people in schools, among teachers, among students, if they see someone with faith, wow, you're superstitious, you have mental problems, you're mentally abnormal. Parents also particularly reject them. Teachers reject, classmates reject. I've met some teachers and students. Actually, generally speaking, they never engage in corruption, don't do things that violate policies, very conscientious. But when they have their own faith and values, the surrounding environment keeps pressing others very severely. This phenomenon exists in many social groups nowadays. Here, I see Jiangxi has always been a place where many Chan masters and great practitioners have appeared. So in all aspects, whether school teachers or eminent masters, comparatively speaking, are relatively open. This doesn't exist here, but it does exist in other places. So I also especially hope we use genuine wisdom to discover human truth, and these truths in the essence of our own traditional culture and ancient thought. It's best to use them often ourselves. If we don't use them, I often tell Tibetan people that much knowledge in Tibet is very precious, but many young Tibetans have forgotten it themselves. Many Westerners and many Han people go there to learn it. Confucian thought and some traditional culture of the Han region are also very precious. But many in the Han region, including some teachers, experts, and scholars, they regard it as superstition and feudal traditional vocabulary to abandon. As a result, people of other ethnicities and countries have already learned it, already benefited from it. Isn't this very regrettable? So let's all rise together, utilizing such platforms to protect traditional culture, and should promote our own valuable, noble culture that can benefit all life. Thank you all.
Just now, the Master used very short time to wonderfully explain the relationship between Buddhism's three trainings of precept, meditation, and wisdom and happiness in life. He especially emphasized that we always feel precept is a constraint on people, but he told us that for lay people, the 5 great precepts, no killing, no stealing, no sexual misconduct, no lying, no intoxicants, are actually not constraints on the self, but elevation. They enable oneself to generate a sense of reverence. With a sense of reverence, gradually the mind can calm down and cultivate a kind of meditation. Meditation is very important for physical health, for happiness in life, and for career success. Why is meditation very important? It generates wisdom. What wisdom does it generate? As the master just said, our wisdom includes listening wisdom, contemplation wisdom, and practice wisdom. With wisdom, life can be happy. Not only happy today, but even more happy in the future. The master's lecture just now was very wonderful. I propose everyone express thanks again with applause. All right, thank you.